research that speeds new treatments into clinics, helping patients live longer with fewer complications. Go to pcf.org to learn more about prostate cancer and how you can advocate for yourself. Remember, it's your life, and it's a simple blood test. Get it done.
Milwaukee's Black Talk lives here. You are listening to 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's Beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I am Kyle Walsh, your host of Truth to Power, and we are live from the that's the ESPN talk. We are live from the American Family Insurance Studio here at the 3rd Street Market Hall in the Avenue. Shout out to my boy DJ Brother Z holding it down on the ones and twos as always. You can call in and chime in on the show by calling in at 833-212-1017. That's 833-212-1017. And on top of that, you can also watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. That is 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that like button so we get a thumbs up, but also subscribe so you never miss any of your favorite 101.7 The Truth shows. Well, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. I got a lot of stuff I'm going to talk about today, especially in the second segment, because I think it's time for us to make sure we're aware of anything that's happening globally, because there's some serious things going on that we have to discuss. We have to discuss, and I'm going to just talk a little bit about being okay with being wrong and changing your mindset. But before we get to that, something I'm right about is here in our office, we have a lot of shared plates, shared bowls, shared mugs. I try to avoid using them just because I know we got a dishwasher here, but I'm just not the share type of guy. Like, I don't really like sharing stuff like that. Not my thing. And recently, our office invested in getting brand new mugs. We moved here in 2022, and so we've had the same glass mugs for the last, I guess, 2.5 years. I didn't think we need to replace them. I think that is a little wasteful spending. But, you know, it is what it is. They decided they're going to get new mugs, and that's exactly what they did. They got brand new mugs. They have 620 WTMJ on them. They have ESPN Milwaukee on them, and they have 101.7 The Truth. It's nice, right? Got all our brands here with Good Karma Brands Milwaukee. And so that's the cool part. Nice-looking coffee mugs. But the old coffee mugs have been sitting out on the counter for now the last 5 days, including the weekend. Maybe 6 days, for people to grab and take. And I think about, like, why would people like grabbing and taking coffee mugs from their office that have been used for multiple years by other people that got scratches and nicks and marks on it? Like, I don't know. I'm not a Goodwill type guy. I'm not a St. Vincent de Paul type guy. You know, I'm not a what do they call it? I'm gonna ask DJ Brother Z, but we got some tech folks in there. Thrifter, that's what it is. I'm not a thrift shop type of guy, right? The closest thing I came to wearing other people's clothes was my brother giving me his hand-me-downs, right? As a kid growing up, yeah, your big brother has clothes, he can't fit no more, you put them on, right? Or stuff that's out of style, you put them on. But I just think it's real weird in this office that we're giving away the coffee mugs. Like, they're dope-looking coffee mugs, but we've been using them for the last 2.5 years. I just think that's pretty odd and pretty different, and I I just thought that was odd. And I just wanted to kind of get that off my mind that I don't know. Would you want to take a coffee mug from the office that people been using for the last 2.5 years? I'm sure they clean, but it just seems odd to me. I don't know. The work world is real weird. Office culture can be odd. It can be very, very different. But the other thing I really wanted to focus on and talk about today is the fact that the election is 2 weeks away. 2 weeks from today. I know Eric Holder, the former United States Attorney General, joined Sherwin Hughes on his show earlier today to talk. Hopefully I get the Attorney General on my show as well. I introduced myself, and he said he wanted to come on. I said, for sure, let's do it. Let's make it happen. But as we lead up to the election, I also want to make sure we're informed. The state superintendent race is something that we've discussed, and early voting actually starts today. Early voting for Wisconsin has begun today, and you can early vote here in the state of Wisconsin starting right now. Yes, you can start early voting right now in the state of Wisconsin as it opened up today, and it runs until Sunday, March 30th. And I really, really, really ask for people to understand what's on your ballot and get out there and vote. Because I understand that a lot of us look at these elections that, if it's not a presidential election or a gubernatorial election or a Senate election, a lot of us end up not voting in these. We don't think it is as important. But with early voting starting now and understanding what's at stake, it is imperative that we use our voice and we get out to vote. So early voting has started now. There's no excuse not to vote. You have from today until March 30th, Sunday, March 30th, to get out there and early vote. Make sure you go to myvote.wi.gov to find all the early voting locations. If you're in the city of Milwaukee, you can also go to the government website here for the city of Milwaukee to find out what places you can vote early at, because I think it's so important that we understand different locations where we can vote early at. I got all these pieces of papers and notes. I see it's in dang Spanish, so I cannot read it. But here is the non-Spanish version of different places that people can vote at and the hours as well. So, again, here it is. The information. There it is. So, again, early voting starts today. It runs through Sunday, March 30th. And you can vote at Good Hope Library in Milwaukee. You can vote at Capitol Drive Voting Center, Tippecanoe Library on South Howell, Washington Park Senior Center on Valete, Zeitler Municipal Building right here in downtown Milwaukee, UWM Zelzo Center, Clinton Road Senior Center on MLK Drive as well are different places you can vote. Mitchell Street Library, Zablocki Library, and MATC as well where you can vote at, and they have varying in times, Monday through Tuesday, 12:30 to 7:30, Wednesday through Friday, 10:30 to 5:30, Saturday and Sunday, 9:30 to 4:30, and 1:30 to 4:30. I think it's so important that we get out and vote in this election, because this is a very, very important election. The state superintendent race, listen, both the candidates are trash, and I told y'all I'm not voting for Brittany Kinzer simply because Brittany Kinzer is supported by Republicans here in the state of Wisconsin. She's supported by the Eline family here in Wisconsin, who also backed and supported Donald Trump, and also supported by one of the richest women in America, Diane Hendricks, who also supports Donald Trump. And so anybody that's supported by Donald Trump, I cannot vote for him. So I am not the biggest fan of Jill Underly, but I'd rather have a shot and have a conversation and have some influence versus having absolutely zero influence by voting for somebody like Brittany Kinzer. So I highly, highly suggest you do your own research and find your own information about who you want to vote for. But in that race, again, I don't support anybody that supports Donald Trump. So that's why I am not voting for Brittany Kinzer. Now, in the state Supreme Court race, that is something that we definitely need to be talking about and having a conversation about, because this state Supreme Court race, like I said before, is vital, right? And I, being an on-air host, I reached out to both candidates. It's something that I've done before. I always reach out to candidates. I reached out to Brad Schimmel. I actually got his phone number, and I was able to call Brad Schimmel. I called him last week trying to get in contact with him because I emailed him 2 weeks ago. No response. I said, cool, that's fine. And I ended up getting his phone number, and I gave him a call last Thursday. And so when I gave him a call last Thursday, he didn't know my number, so he didn't answer. But he said, can't talk now, what's up? That's what he said. He said, can't talk now, what's up? I said, hey, this is Kyle Walsh from 101.7 The Truth. I am working with Dr. Ken Harris to help organize interviews on our station leading up to the election. No response. No response. So then I interviewed him again. Then I reached out to him again, so hopefully I'll hear from him. I emailed him. And he was here today with Steve Scafidi. And so Steve Scafidi hooked me up with the contact information. So hopefully I'll have an opportunity to talk to Brad Schimmel. So I think it's important that he come on our station and talk to our community about, why he deserves our vote, why he wants our vote, right? I think we owe it to you all, and we owe it to anybody who is a resident of the state of Wisconsin to provide a platform for these candidates in these important positions to be able to have an opportunity to talk to you all about the things that are important to them and why they're running for the position. Susan Crawford, I reached out to her on Monday. Heard back from her people. They're going to coordinate a time for us to have her on. And I want to ask why she wants to run for the position and why she believes we should vote for her as well. And so we will find out if I'm able to get both candidates on. But again, my goal is to make sure we get both candidates on because we have to understand what is at stake here in this election. And when we're talking about this election here, we're talking about a state Supreme Court race here in Wisconsin that can help prevent things like gerrymandering. I'm huge on gerrymandering because what we have to understand is when they gerrymander maps, right? When the assembly gerrymanders maps, what they do is that there are areas that basically you have representatives, like Lena Taylor used to represent as a state senator, an area, right? Gwen Moore, who is on the U.S. level, she represents an area when it comes for her for, being one of the representatives that represents the Milwaukee area and some other places. And what they were doing was they were looking at maps and they were looking at voting patterns. So if they saw the city of Milwaukee, right, let's say the city of Milwaukee and St. Francis and West Dallas, they all vote a certain way. And they would look at the maps, and they would carve out spaces where there was some people who voted Republican, people who voted Democrat. If they was mixed in there 50-50, what they would do is they would bump the Republicans out and draw a line and put the Republicans in a place that were maybe a little bit more Democratic and move more Republicans in there so Republicans can win that spot, and then put more Democrats in the space and say, all right, you know what? You're winning this place 55-45. What we're going to have you do is win it 60-40 and take 5% and push it over here where it's 50-50 so we can try to push the Republican over. So it wasn't about having fair maps. It was about winning elections, which at the end of the day, we as citizens lose because you no longer actually have a real voice, right? And so that's what gerrymandering was. And the state Supreme Court we currently have now struck down the maps, and they have new maps that are now much balanced. Republicans still won the state of Wisconsin when it comes to the state assembly and the state senate, even though Democrats drew up the maps. But we have to understand that's because we no longer have gerrymandered maps, and that's an important thing for us to have. And also when it comes to having the right to make a decision, right? A right for a woman to choose. Y'all know how I believe. Listen, I'm pro-choice, but I'm not advocating for nobody to have an abortion, but it is not my decision to make. But that's also going to be on the ballot as well. The restoring of collective bargaining, for teachers and for public workers who aren't police, who aren't firefighters, because back when Scott Walker was in office, he allowed for the police union to still have the ability to have collective bargaining where he stripped it away from the teachers union and other public servants. So these are some of the things on the ballot. And then on top of that, with DEI being something that's under attack, best to believe that's also going to be something that you want to observe. So I just want to make sure I keep everybody informed about what is coming up on the ballot. I'm going to do my darndest to be able to make sure that we get the candidates here on Truth to Power here with Kyle Wallace so they have an opportunity to talk to y'all about why they believe you should vote for them. I only think it's right to try to get both candidates on, period. So make sure you get out and vote. Early voting has begun today. Make sure you stay informed about who you're voting for and get out there and let your voice be heard. But when we come back on the other side, I told y'all, I evolve as an individual, and I don't believe something just to believe it, and I'm not just going to stand on it because I believed it once. But I'm going to tell y'all this right now. There is something happening in this country. There is something happening across the globe that should make us all very nervous, and we all should be worried about the future of what we see. And as Americans, we should be the ones leading this, not just nation, but globally, the world. But right now, what we're seeing across this country, especially specifically in Palestine, or I should say Gaza Strip with Palestinians, we're seeing a mass murder and we're seeing a massacre of human beings. And we're going to talk about that on the other side. Keep it live because I'm going to talk about the fact that what we are seeing in Gaza is only the beginning of what we're going to see across the United States. And I'll tell you why on the other side.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, Gruber Law Offices and The Truth have raised the stakes for this year. The One Call That's All Gruber Cash giveaway is now a $5K giveaway. Yes, you heard it right. $5,000 giveaway. Every weekday on 1017 The Truth, you will have the chance to be entered to win the $5K giveaway. Listen to The Truth for the One Call That's All cue to call for your chance to win $5,000. Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All. Visit 1017thetruth.com for official contest rules.
We expect our judges to be fair, impartial, to keep us safe. But Brad Schimmel cut plea deals with child pornographers. He blamed underage victims of sexual assault for their bad judgment. And Schimmel joined extreme MAGA Republicans in trying to ban abortion statewide, even for victims of rape and incest. Now he wants us to put him on the Supreme Court, where he could strip away our rights and be a rubber stamp for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Brad Schimmel, dangerous, extreme, and unfit for the Supreme Court. Judge Susan Crawford knows right from wrong and has spent her life keeping us safe. Crawford protected nursing home patients from identity theft and fought for the rights of workers across Wisconsin. Crawford will always protect our right to choose and is the check and balance we need against Donald Trump and Elon Musk. On April 1st, Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Paid for by Power to the Polls Action Fund, not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Is finally on blast, screaming free Palestine to their home and last. We see the lies and claiming it's anti-Semitic to be anti-Zionist. I seen Jewish brothers and sisters out there and riding in solidarity and screaming free Palestine with them organizing and learning and finally cutting ties.
This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm Kyle Walsh, the host here of Truth to Power. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk, the text line. Make sure you watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. That's 101.7 The Truth on YouTube to watch and stream us live. Now, Truth Nation, I'm telling y'all this right now. I got to bring it today because I was woken up a little early today and I had time today to do a little research. And I'm going to just tell y'all this right now. Is my perspective has changed and evolved over the last 15, 16 months. And I understand we live here in Milwaukee. And I feel like we are blessed and fortunate to live in America. I know we talk a lot of mess about America, but I tell people all the time, I done been to places all across the globe. There is no place I would rather live than America. Than America. We got a lot of freedoms here. We really have a lot of freedoms here. And I understand that things that happen across this world that we live in globally don't really impact us, or we don't really feel it, right? We see it on the news, but it doesn't really resonate with us because it's so far away, right? Like what's happening in Ukraine, we have a certain opinion on it, but I ain't going to be too worried about it. I ain't going to march in the street with it because it ain't, it's not close to me, What's happening in Israel and Palestine and the Gaza Strip and against Hamas, a terrorist group, I saw it happening and, it was so far away. But I'm telling y'all this right now. though we don't think it impacts us, we got to follow the tea leaves. And I'm going to just say this. Donald Trump, during the first election that he had when he was in president, during his first presidency, he was sloppy. Very sloppy, very inconsistent. He really wasn't prepared for it. This second to go around, I'll tell you this right now. That man has been extremely strategic with who he has put in place. He has put people in place that have been looking for this opportunity for the last 4 years to get back in office and watch things play out. I mean, I give him credit. I may not be a fan of the man, but how strategic they have been has been magnificent. It really has, and it sucks because it negatively impacts people, but what they have done is magnificent. I'll tell you why at some point. But I just want y'all to know right now is that we need to make sure that we are aware of what is happening in the Gaza Strip. Because as I said before break, what is happening in the Gaza Strip is nothing short of a cleansing of people. It's a mass murder. It's a massacre. Because what you saw this morning, a genocide. And what we saw this morning was terrible. Because what we're seeing is innocent people who have already been displaced from their home. They have had their communities blasted to rubble. They are living in tents inside of the Gaza Strip. And out of nowhere, they were attacked and they were bombed. Women and children were attacked and bombed and killed this morning. And currently right now, there is supposed to be a ceasefire that was taking place. But they have been negotiating the next phase of the ceasefire. And Israel decided, and they talked to America before this happened, they decided they were going to drop bombs on the Gaza Strip, killing 400 people and injuring and wounding 600 others. And that number is going to continue to go up. And so what's frustrating to me is the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump have a plan, a strategic plan. They have a plan to absolutely destroy and to decimate the Gaza Strip and to make sure every Palestinian that is there either leaves or is killed. See, we should have known that this cease agreement was never going to last because as soon as Donald Trump told them to leave, remember Donald Trump had that video that was out, the video of the Gaza Strip of what it could look like, right? And it was an AI video that he didn't make, but he reshared of what it could look like. And remember when Benjamin Netanyahu was the prime minister of Israel, when he came to America, he said, yeah, I mean, if the U.S. wants to build up the Gaza Strip, we can do that. But see, we got to understand what we saw today, they have been laying the groundwork for this for weeks, for months. And I just want to take y'all back a little bit. I do want to know y'all opinion on this. Do we recall when Netanyahu came here and Trump, and even when Trump got elected, Trump said, if they don't release the hostages, all hell is going to break loose. He said that. And all hell broke loose today. And then you fast forward to what I just talked about how Donald Trump had the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House, and they talked about what's going to happen next with Gaza. They're going to build Gaza up. It's going to be beautiful, right? All the Palestinians should leave. They should go to Jordan. They should go to Egypt. But you all should leave, and we're going to build it so beautiful. It's going to be the most beautiful thing ever. Yes, you're going to tell people to leave their country and allow America to build it up and think they're going to return to a country that's going to be similar to what they had before? Absolutely not. But this is where it gets interesting, Truth Nation. I just need y'all to listen up now. Remember 2 weeks ago, and I talked about it here on Truth to Power, but remember 2 weeks ago, there were universities across this country. There were 60 of them. 60 universities across this country that were told that they need to show that they were not having any type of anti-Semitism protest on their campus or risk losing funding. UW-Madison was one of those universities that got that letter. They said, listen, if you had any protest or anything that could be seen as anti-Semitism on your campus, you are risking losing your funding from the United States government. We saw what happened at Columbia. They lost $400 million. UW-Madison would lose dollars if they found any type of anti-Semitism on campus. So they were basically laying the groundwork of the anti-Semitism was the protesters who were protesting what was happening in Gaza, the genocide of the Palestinians in Gaza. So that was step number 2, right? First, you said, hey, we're going to basically take over the Gaza Strip. And then B, you said any university that allowed for anti-Semitism on their campus through the protests, what we're going to do is we're going to take all your federal funding away. So we're going to make you choose between allowing people to protest on your campus in the future or taking your funding away. And you know what they always going to follow the money. And then the next step was last week, I don't know if y'all recall, but there was a gentleman who led the protest at Columbia University who was on a green card. So he was a U.S. permanent resident, married to a woman who was a U.S. citizen who's pregnant with their child. And last week, the Secretary of the United States, Marco Rubio, had that man arrested. And when they arrested the man that led the protest, they said, you're arrested and we're taking away your student visa. He said, I don't have a student visa. I'm a green card holder. I'm a permanent resident. They said, well, we're taking that away and we're locking you up. And they took him away. They snatched that man from his home and took him away because he was leading a protest that they believe was anti-Semitism. That was step number 2, or number 3, excuse me. You show everybody, if you protest, if you do something against us, what will we do? We will find you and we will threaten to deport you or we will threaten to lock you up. See, what we have to understand is that these are all signals and signs of what is to come. For anybody that believes they're going to be pro-Palestine, right? For anyone that believes that they're going to get out there and protest, we got something for you. And so they did all that stuff to send a message. They told the universities, if you allow these protests to happen, you're going to lose your funding. They utilized this individual and basically took him away from his family, even though he hadn't committed a crime. They created something to be able to take him away from his family, to use him as an example of, if you protest and you're not a citizen here, we're going to get your ass. And if you are a citizen here, definitely you could get arrested. That's what they showed because they knew what they were going to do. They knew what was coming. They knew they were going to bomb Gaza and kill over 400 innocent individuals. And they claim that this is about the hostages. There is no way that this is about 11 hostages, 25 total. If you're negotiating something, right, how is it possible that you think that a negotiating, trick or a way to negotiate is mass murdering 400 people? I don't think y'all understand what is happening. There are 400 people, including women and children and innocent men, that were awakened by bombs this morning. Bombs. There were people who are sleeping in tents, who are innocent, who have been displaced from their homes, who were murdered today. And if they really wanted to negotiate, if this wasn't about power and taking over the Gaza Strip and them sending a message, then they would have actually negotiated. They wouldn't have just bombed and potentially basically said, if you bomb me, if it's me and you bomb my city, I'm killing them hostages. Them hostages have become sacrifices. That's what we have to understand. We have to understand that this is beyond. It was never about Hamas and a terrorist group. I have now come to the belief. I used to say that, whatever happened in Gaza was because Hamas, they bucked up and they did something stupid. But now what I believe to be what happened was there was already a plan in place that Israel wanted to take over the Gaza Strip, and all they needed was something to happen. All they needed was something to happen for them to be able to respond to it. Just like 9/11 happened here. I'm not a 9/11 conspiracy theorist. But I do know there are certain events that they allow to happen in order for them to have the ability to get the public behind them. And what we saw from October 7th in 2023, and what we saw was a country in Israel allow Hamas to come there and murder Israelis in order to give them a reason to be able to go into the Gaza Strip and finally take over. And finally take over. And now we're seeing people dead. Now, before we go to break, because I got some more smoke for some people too, because I'm going to tell you this right now. Arab Muslim Americans who voted for Donald Trump, specifically in Dearborn, Michigan, I'm on y'all too. Because y'all look real stupid right now. For the people that were marching and protesting in the street, you have every right to protest the Biden administration handling of Palestinians and of Gaza. I get it. You have every right. But I bet you feel like a damn fool now. I bet you feel real stupid now. And we as individuals that are voters, we need to educate ourselves on what we are up against. And I'm upset and I'm mad because when you hear stories about hospitals being overrun, when you hear stories about a country basically having food aid cut off, where you hear stories about people having illnesses in their stomach because they don't even have clean water to drink, where you hear stories about them not allowing food to get into the country, you bomb a country, you take away all the industry that they have, and then when you actually have aid that's supposed to be pouring into the country, you block aid, you block food to people that are already in despair. That is inhumane, and there's a humanitarian crisis happening right now, and the president of the United States is allowing it to happen. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, is allowing it to happen. And I understand this is away from Milwaukee, but what I want y'all to understand is how we reconnect this to Milwaukee is the fact that there are going to be instances in our city and in our state and in this country where we are going to want to protest. And they are laying the groundwork. They are showing us the blueprint of how to push people down. They are arresting people for protesting. I want y'all to understand they are challenging universities and trying to take away their funding for allowing people to utilize their First Amendment right to protest, to assemble. We are living in an authoritarian dictatorship under Donald Trump, and nobody, and not enough, I shouldn't say nobody, not enough people are pushing back. There is genocide happening on this earth. Imagine a bomb being dropped right here in downtown Milwaukee and 400 people losing their lives. It will be a tragedy. Meanwhile, what's happening in the Gaza Strip to Palestinians, a lot of us are just sitting silently. I'm telling y'all this right now. It is bigger than a war happening over there. It is about the fact that we are going to be losing our rights. They are basically letting people know, they're letting universities know. If anybody protests on your campus, mark my words, there will be people that want to protest what's happening in the Gaza Strip and what's happening to Palestinians very, very soon. It's going to be people, because that's what people do. And college campuses and universities are the places that a lot of people do that. Mark my words. If one of the major institutions across this country, one of the Ivy Leagues across this country, have any type of protest to the war that is happening in the Gaza Strip, Donald Trump will threaten to take away their funding if they do not put down those protests. Mark my words. 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to text line. Millicent, I see your call. We'll definitely get to it next. Again, I see y'all inside the chat. We're definitely going to get to the chat here. You can watch and stream us live. 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. You can watch and stream us live. On the other side, I'm going to play some audio for you about what's happening on the front lines. And then also I got to talk to the Arab Muslim Americans who voted for Jill Stein, who voted for Donald Trump, and who are now having crocodile damn tears crying about the atrocities that are happening to the people that look like them. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Walls. We have Millicent, we have Al, we have your text as well. We'll get that coming up on the other side.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Is your washing machine not quite getting the job done the way you expected? Running your dryer over and over because it is taking forever to dry your clothes? Be frustrated no more, because Create Suds Laundromat in Milwaukee can get rid of all your washing and drying headaches. They offer new big load washers and dryers to reduce your cleaning time, and even have free Wi-Fi for customers. Stop battling with stubborn stains and piles of laundry and visit Create Suds Laundromat. They are open every day from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Keep your business safe, secure, and spotless with the Omega Security Guard and Cleaning Team. Proudly located in Milwaukee and female-owned, Omega delivers professional security and tailored cleaning services to meet your needs. Whether it's event security or a custom cleaning plan, their dedicated team goes above and beyond to exceed your expectations. Because at Omega, they're not just your service provider, they're your partner in peace of mind. Contact Omega Security Guard today or online at OmegaSecurityGuard.com. Omega Security Guard and Cleaning, protecting what matters most.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent, as an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning, the cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. The Milwaukee Bucks will begin a 10-day West Coast road trip tonight in Golden State. The Bucks will get back into the win column and be more physical than opposing teams. Head coach Doc Rivers.
In these 3 games we haven't been, and then when we're not going to win the game. There's no answer to it. It's just a fact.
Bucks Warriors tonight with a tip time set for 9 p.m. Over to baseball, where the LA Dodgers beat the Cubs 4-1 to begin the regular season out in Tokyo. And sticking with baseball here locally, the Milwaukee Brewers spring training rolling on as they have placed starting pitcher Tobias Myers on the injured list to begin the season with a strained oblique. The Brewers also losing last night 14-8 to San Diego. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm Kyle Walsh, the host of Truth to Power. 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to Text line. You can join in on the conversation. Also, watch and stream us live on YouTube, 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to us. We've been having a conversation about the devastation that is happening right now in the Gaza Strip. In the 400 people, many of them women and children, have been murdered and killed inside of the Gaza Strip. many Palestinians due to the war between Israel and Hamas. There was a ceasefire agreement that was currently in place. There was a negotiation that happened. Phase 1 had already been taking place during Phase 1. Basically, there was a hostage agreement where Israel will release X amount of hostages, which was a lot, and Hamas would release X amount of hostages. They did it, and then Israel said, hey, we want more hostages. Hamas said, no, we're not going to give you more hostages. We're going to stick to the agreement. Let's go to Phase 2 where we talk about what's next. Israel said, no, give us more. They said, no, we got to negotiate. And Israel decided they wanted to bomb. So now you have 400 people who lost their lives, 600 people getting injured. And I just believe that we need to be talking about this, and we need to understand that this was already in the works. This was already planned out. And the fact that you saw Donald Trump threaten universities across major universities, not just any university, right? UW Whitewater, UW Oshkosh, if they had protests, he ain't worried about that. He threatened big name universities across this country with anti-Semitism and saying, if you allow for protests to happen, you're going to lose federal funding. And then he arrested somebody who led a protest at the University of Columbia who was a permanent resident. And so he basically was laying the groundwork to be able to let people know that we're going to be making this bombing. We're going to bomb the Gaza Strip coming up here, and we dare any university to allow for protests to happen without having to lose something. Millicent, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
I think we have just totally just turned our back on Gaza and the Palestinians, and I really feel bad for that. I feel worse for them than I do for some of the things that are happening in America to us.
Oh, yeah.
But I think right now Hamas is going to lose. They know they're going to lose. What they should do at this point, and I know people are going to hate me for this, but this is the only way you can get them back because they have no way of winning. Those last hostages, they should film them being murdered. The ones that are already dead, they desecrate the bodies and then tell Israel to come get them. That will teach Israel a lesson. Because right now, Israel is feeling like for 11 people, we can kill 1,000. Mm-hmm. So they think one person, one of them is worth 100 of us. And that's just not the way life is.
Yep.
And Hamas now is at the point where they should just go for the gusto.
And Millicent,
film it.
I'm not going to agree with what you're saying whatsoever, but
agree with that. I know.
I will say this, Millicent, is Israel knew, and Donald Trump knew, as soon as they were going to drop those bombs today, they understood they were sacrificing the 24 hostages that they believed to be alive. They were going to sacrifice those 24 Israeli, I believe they're all Israeli hostages, whoever it were. They were going to sacrifice those 24 individuals to be able to have the ability to completely destroy and get rid of the Gaza Strip and take over. Because think about this. If you live in the Gaza Strip, you live anywhere, and it's bombs nonstop, what are you eventually going to do? They're going to say, you can leave if you want to. You're going to leave. Eventually, you're going to give up the fight. And those that do stay, they'll be living under a rule that they would not want to be under. It is over. The Palestinians no longer have a home. They no longer have a home.
And the thing about it is, I don't understand how Christians, black Christians here in America, don't have sympathy for them. That is a religious land. That's a Christian land. That's where Jesus walked. And y'all don't care, but somebody, the first thing they'll say is, I'm praying to God. God gonna help me through this. But you don't care what's going on in his land. I guess I don't get it.
Millicent, thank you, son. We got callers, but I appreciate what you're saying. And again, I think what you said was you were speaking your truth. You spoke what you think they should do. I disagree, but what I will say is that is what the next step is. If those hostages were not killed in the bombing, those hostages are probably going to lose their lives, unfortunately, right? And now you have the hostages' families are upset that this happened because now their loved ones that they've already wanted for months, over a year now they know there is no chance of them probably getting them back alive. That is tragic. And I want y'all to understand this, is that Benjamin Netanyahu is not liked in this country, has a 58% disapproval rating, and 70% of the people polled asked for him to also be to resign. So I want y'all to understand that. So when Donald Trump was trying to tell Zelensky that he needs to hold an election, so he needs to resign, they need to do the same dang thing when it comes to Netanyahu, because this is not and Israel is not for all this. It's not. This is the Netanyahu thing. 833-212-1017. Al, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
Well, your most evilest people are religions. And remember, God bragged to the devil about genocide on the innocent. So you have your answer to that. And these people knew when they voted for that pale-faced devil, they knew what they was getting. But remember this, it goes always to the skin color. So hopefully people will take a stand. And for those who don't take a stand, every dog will have their day because a pipe will bust from pressure. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Al. I appreciate you joining me. And what's interesting about that, there is a mayor from Hamtramck city in Michigan. Is one of the most diverse cities when it has most a lot of immigrants there as well. And there's the individual named Amir Ghalib who was the mayor. He was a Democratic mayor. He endorsed Donald Trump 7 days going up into the election. And guess where he is now? He is now an ambassador, U.S. ambassador to Kuwait. So he endorsed Donald Trump and threw his own people under the bus. And now he's gone because now he is now a U.S. ambassador. Sounds like somebody we had here with the name of Tom Barrett. Trash. Winky Blue, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. What are your thoughts about this conversation?
Well, I'll tell you this right here, man. The college campus people that are immigrants in this country, outside of the educational piece that they might be able to offer this country after they achieve their degree, they have no stake in this country, Kyle. When it comes down to Gaza and who's funding those guys, if you look at our land, see, this is bigger than me and you just making some noise and pumping our fists up, man. If Iran, these people believe in jihad. They believe in conquering the whole world.
Can I ask you a question, Winky? So when we talk about, I am anti-Hamas. But what I'm talking about is this. Do you not think it's an atrocity that 400 people lost their lives, 600 injured, and many of them are women and children? And especially the way that you smart, and you know that the way that this went down, this happened overnight, and they were in the middle of negotiating, and they dropped these bombs to send a message, and they murdered 400 people, even though the Hamas and Israel did what they were supposed to do with phase one with releasing hostages. So they completed phase one. They did. And Israel asked for more people to be released without having to give up anything. That is not how negotiating works.
But do you understand what's happening? They are ready to sacrifice. Israel is ready to sacrifice those hostages, man.
100%. Yeah, that's what I said. 100%.
Yeah.
They want to end this forever.
Here, man. When you're dealing with war, hey, man, me and you really ain't got a dog in that fight. I don't even really like to talk about it because we got enough problems right here. If them folk want to do what they doing, we better protect what's been paid for in black blood over here. Meaning me and your ancestors.
Winky, I understand, because I got to get to other calls. I understand, but you say that we have no vested interest in that. I'm a human being. So at a certain point, you have to have some type of empathy, sympathy, and have some type of emotion for individuals who are dying. You say we have no human interest. My goodness, we're human beings. These are innocent people who are intense. Imagine, think about, you lost everything, and now you're in a tent and you're being bombed. 833-212-1017. Anthony, you're award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I got about 30 seconds here for you, Anthony. Thanks for calling.
Okay, so mine is going to be really quick. One of the things that I wanted to mention is something that a lot of Republicans and a lot of people tend to say all the time is freedom of speech. One of the things that is not being talked about with all of the colleges being threatened is that these colleges and different people can always use the amendment and freedom of speech, take them to court, and create a whole situation on top of the fact that it ruins Middle East peace situations. That's my only comment.
Thank you so much. You're absolutely right, and I think that's what I said. This Trump administration, you may not like them, but what they're doing is they're basically saying, we're going to do what we want and we'll see you in court. That's all it is. It literally, we'll say we'll see you in court. But it's too late. Like when you deport people, they ain't coming back. Ain't nobody come. Listen, the plane that went to Venezuela, that they took them Venezuelans there, shaved their heads and made a whole mockery of it or a video of it. Them people ain't coming back. Once they gone, they gone. What you going to do? You going to make them bring them back? No, that ain't going to happen. 833-212-1017. Miss Carolyn, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. I have about 30 seconds here for you.
First of all, baby, I just want to say that everybody needs to pray. And as far as that fight between Israel and Hamas, God going to work that out and stuff, because the Palestinians knew that they were under a regime. They were hiding those people. They had every opportunity to give Hamas up. Now they want everybody to feel sorry. I don't want to sound heartless, but you can't go over to anybody else's country and protest and say what you ain't going to do. So I feel like this. If you're over here, you do what the Americans do. We're not Palestinians.
What about
y'all fight over?
But what about Miss Carolyn? But you have every right to your opinion. What about the Americans who are protesting as well? You think that it's fair that universities are being threatened because they're having anti-protests that we've had even since Vietnam? Right, we've had protests here in this country before. Do you think it's right that universities are being threatened now to lose funding because they allow protests to happen against a war?
Against the war that don't involve us, yes, I do.
Okay.
Now Vietnam was different. We were involved in that. Not that we wanted to be.
So why
didn't
do you know?
We're not involved.
So why haven't they had anything? Why didn't they crack down on people who were protesting against like Russia? And I know it probably wasn't as big, but why didn't they crack down on that?
Because they wouldn't be as boasters as these people are, and you know the loudest we're gonna either get shot or killed. Okay.
I got it. Thank you, Miss Carolyn. I agree. Listen, I appreciate your perspective. I really do. Hey, listen, everybody got a right to believe how they felt. So, hey, I appreciate everybody calling in. Lastly, here, D'Angelo, you're on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth, the Power with Kyle Wallace. What are your thoughts here on this conversation? Got about 30 seconds for you.
Hello?
How you doing, D'Angelo?
Hello?
Yep, D'Angelo got 30 seconds for you.
All right. Hey, we worried about Palestine, man. We on deck. You know what Agenda 2030 is? Y'all better start reading.
Agenda 2030.
We next.
I'm not familiar with it, but I would definitely look it up. And
we are. I promise you, we are next, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
They've been planning this for a long time. They're saying there's too many people on this planet.
Okay,
we next.
I appreciate you, D'Angelo. Agenda 2030. I suggest people look it up. I don't know what it is, but I'll definitely take the time to look it up. And again, I appreciate this great conversation. When we come back on the other side, there is a video. The video I want to play because I feel like it's very important to us to understand what's truly going on. So when we come back, I'm going to play a video so we understand what is happening and the atrocities that are happening here in America. Happening in the Gaza Strip to Palestinians. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
More of Truth to Power is next on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 101.7 The Truth, Kyle Wallace, and I am Milwaukee. I take great pride in being a 414 boy and representing the city that I love. The great memories I have of going to Northtown Cinema to see movies with family and friends, to going to Capitol Court to see the Black Santa Claus, this city has helped shape me into the man that I am today, and I pledge to utilize my voice as a way to advocate for you in our community. Join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
We expect our judges to be fair, impartial, to keep us safe. But Brad Schimmel cut plea deals with child pornographers. He blamed underage victims of sexual assault for their bad judgment. And Schimmel joined extreme MAGA Republicans in trying to ban abortion statewide, even for victims of rape and incest. Now he wants us to put him on the Supreme Court, where he could strip away our rights and be a rubber stamp for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Brad Schimmel, dangerous, extreme, and unfit for the Supreme Court. Judge Susan Crawford knows right from wrong and has spent her life keeping us safe. Crawford protected nursing home patients from identity theft and fought for the rights of workers across Wisconsin. Crawford will always protect our right to choose and is the check and balance we need against Donald Trump and Elon Musk. On April 1st, Judge Susan Crawford for Supreme Court. Paid for by Power to the Polls Action Fund, not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because their home policies help protect your dreams and come with peace of mind. Save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote from an agent at amfam.com. Products are not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company assigned its operating companies American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Truth Nation, gear up for a great time as Sports Milwaukee hosts Milwaukee Tailgate Week, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Set for April 24th to the 26th, Milwaukee Tailgate Week features a variety of gridiron activations for all ages, steeped in Milwaukee's iconic sports history, attractions, brews, restaurants, and venues. As the 2025 draft takes center stage in Green Bay, Sports Milwaukee and the Cream City are excited to welcome the football world back to Wisconsin. For tickets, go to visitmilwaukee.org/tailgate. Brought to you by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class.
After an accident, don't wait to get the help you need. Call Gruber Law Offices first. There is no fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
All right, I'm going to yell at about my producer. I'm going to tell y'all this right now. Tory Lowe, 4th Annual Community Cleanup. Make sure y'all sign up. It's on April 12th. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com to sign up. We want to see y'all there. We got free food. We have sponsors. The sponsors are 1MKE. We are 1MKE, presented by them, and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Ray's Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, and Waste Management. Also, make sure y'all sign up to attend the Analysis Live. It's coming back on March 29th. DJ Brother Z, can I do it? Can I play this video clip?
No.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I'll let y'all just know. So, basically.
Because you said you wanted me to play 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah. And
you got 2 minutes left.
I got 2 minutes left. So, basically, what I want y'all to understand is that right now there is a crisis happening inside of the Gaza Strip. Right? You have hospitals that are overrun. You have people who already don't have food who are struggling. Hospitals that are already full because of people not being able to eat and having diseases that are forming. Now you add people who are injured. Many of these people are going to go on to die. Because if you already don't have an issue with being bombed, you have an issue with the fact that you don't have clean water to drink. I want you to try to drink non-clean water out of the Milwaukee River for 2 months straight and see if you don't have any gastro issues inside of your intestines, inside of your stomach. But I really just want people to understand that we need to educate ourselves on what's happening over there and why it is happening. We can't turn our backs to other people any longer. Again, I was once ignorant to the fact of everything that was happening. I once said, you know what? If you throw the first punch, you have to take the consequences. But at this point now, it's bigger than that. At this point, it is a message that is being sent not only to the Palestinians, but it's a message that Donald Trump is trying to send to everybody, that America is going to do what they want, and that this country, the way that we're governed right now, he is in full control. If you speak out against it, you will be arrested. And I'm telling y'all this right now. Come this summer when things happen, or even, as protests start to heat up and you start seeing citizens getting beat up by police again, y'all understand what it's all about. But this has been Truth to Power with Kyle Walls on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Always listen back on 1017thetruth.com where you can get all the podcasts. Make sure you like on YouTube, hit the like button, the stream button. The Tory Lowe Show is up next. I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a beautiful and blessed one.
Milwaukee Black Talk.
And Joe Biden wasn't very controversial. He wasn't. He might have done some things in this long story.